All right. So first on the agenda, we have no flag, so I guess we'll do that in our next meeting. Vote to approve Norton High School field trips.
Come on in, Mrs. Marshallina.
Hi there.
Hello.
Hi. Hi there.
How we doing?
This is Colin. We're calling along to talk to you guys about.
Hi, Colin.
We're asking more. So, all right. So we have two field trips to present, but one of them actually we just found out it is full, so we can't go anyway.
Oh.
I didn't know the procedure, so it took me too long to get moving and tickets and all that kind of stuff. So we missed out on the lead conference, but
Okay.
we are asking about the Science Olympiad competitions. I'll let Colin talk for a sec.
Science Olympiad is a team competition in which students compete in 23 events, including areas of STEM knowledge, procedure, and building, spanning all of the STEM subjects of biology, chemistry, physics, engineering, and math. The team consists of 15 members plus alternatives and functions, very much like a sports team. We will meet frequently, as much as 3 or more times per week, possibly to prepare for the events. And our coach will guide us in our practices. We currently have 17 members, and it's an amazing team. We are all new to Science Olympiad, as Norton has never had a team before, and we are going to do our best against teams that have been around for decades. We will compete at Invitational around Massachusetts, and hopefully make it to the States competition at Wentworth Institute of Technology. If we do well at States, we may make it to Nationals, which will be at Michigan State University, the same university that started it 40 years ago. It will be an incredible opportunity to not only compete against the nation's best in science, but also to showcase our school on the national platform. We are asking for your permission well in advance so that if we make it to Nationals, we will be quickly able to make the plans we need. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you.
Science Olympiad is very new, so to us, it's been around for 40 years. But if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
So this is the first time you said?
This is our first time, we're just starting our team this year. And we already have a full team. The max a team can have is 15, plus alternates, and we filled
And
it.
you're full.
We filled
Oh, wow.
That's amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's great. Okay. And I'm sure the same thing as we've asked before, but fundraising, parents are responsible. and
Parents are
fundraising.
responsible, we're gonna fundraise as much as we can.
Okay,
Yep, to offset the cost for everybody.
okay.
It's mostly travel costs instead, for this, there's no like to-go cost or anything like that, it's just travel costs.
Yeah. Anybody else, any questions? No?
Mrs. Marshallina, for the States, is that overnight or is it just?
No, it's just a weekend,
conference?
it's 2 days, it's within the travel area, so.
Thank you.
Do you take a bus or?
Yeah, we'll go with
Bus, yeah.
We'll through that one. If we make it, we'll make it states, I don't know, we'll make it beyond states.
Yeah. You never know.
You never know, we do have a really amazing team.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So,
All grades?
all grades, it's 9 to 12, and right now they're in the, they each have to do 2 to 3 events, so they're in the process of picking their events right now.
Oh, wow.
So we have everything from code busting to making airplanes. I mean, it's crazy how much they ask the kids to do.
Well, what are you doing?
I like astrology, that's
Oh.
something on that I'm doing. Robotics, and then I forget what the third one is.
Wow. Are you Charlie's brother? Yeah? I haven't seen you in a long time. You are super tall.
Yeah.
Wow. All righty. All right, any other questions?
So we're voting on the trip to Michigan? Are there any
Potential.
other ones? Any other ones outside of state?
What'd you say?
Any other trips outside of state?
No, the other one, we unfortunately put you late and they filled it already.
Okay, for the science one, there's no
No, there's no filling there. If we make it, we go.
Mass and then Michigan.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Anything else? All right, do we have a motion to approve the field trip to Michigan?
So,
Is there a second?
second.
All those in favor? Aye. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, gentlemen. All right, thank you so much.
Thanks, Helen, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, next is town meeting articles, discussion and vote if needed.
We have no items to discuss today.
Okay, that's perfect. All right, next, discussion and vote on the use of the HA at the Yale Elementary School and Norton High School grounds for Norton Veterans Council Carnival in June 2024.
We have been approached by the Norton Veterans Council to use the grounds, the parking lot, and the grounds at the Yale School for their annual Veterans Council Carnival. This year, the proposed dates are June 19th through the 23rd, which is actually the week after we are slated to get out of school. So that was something that when we worked with Norton Veterans Council, we were happy about because it is challenging to have the carnival there at the same time as we have school in session as well. So I'm recommending that we approve this. It's, the veterans have always been extremely supportive of us, and we're happy to be able to give them this space as well. So, and I know our friend Gary will be happy once it's fully approved.
Yes, Steve will be.
Is it in the front parking lot again?
Yes.
Same idea as last year.
Same idea as last year, yes. Yeah.
Is this something, do we need to vote on this every year? Because like when we used to do Founder's Day, I don't remember ever having to have a vote on it.
I feel like we did vote on Founder's Day.
Every year?
Not every year, but
Yeah, I'm just wondering if it's something that, do we have to vote on it every year, or can we just,
I don't know if one can carte blanche every year. They can. I think you want to just define the parameters of the year-by-year basis. Like I'm assuming that the grounds does not include the fields.
No, the fields will be off limits.
Yeah. So I mean, we should. I don't mind approving it every year. But,
Okay,
I mean, I would
alright.
certainly approve it every year.
yeah, okay. All right, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, we just gotta be careful, so
Yeah.
who's got not approving one and then,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the 5 minutes it takes, I think it's probably worth it. What, how many snow days does that give us?
It gives us 5.
All right, so.
And that 19th is Juneteenth, so we would be closed that day regardless.
Anyway.
But yes, it does give us 5 snow days. We are supposed to have a bad winter. So we're really hopeful that this will give us the full clearance there. And then when you look at the calendar, of course I don't have it in front of me right this second, but the 19th and the 20th are really like setup days. So that's not as bad in terms of, trying to get around things. And if it was 1 or 2
That's
days.
Wednesday and Thursday.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And the car.
Yeah, Friday is really when the carnival kicks
Right,
off.
okay. So we should be
So it does give us a little bit of
Yeah.
wiggle room there in terms of
Okay.
days.
What day are we scheduled for our last day now?
We're currently scheduled to get out June 12th. It's very early.
Everyone just smiled.
Not me, I'm the only one, I'm sitting here.
Well,
Maybe before that
if,
is senior parent.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Now I'm sad. It's gonna be an emotional year, y'all, so I'm just warning you right now. I cry as it is, it's gonna be an emotional year.
if we're getting out the 12th, the seniors aren't going to have an awful lot of time ahead of the rest of the
I know.
classes. Yeah, it's
They're
not-
gonna want all the snow days.
they're gonna be all over me. I know.
Yeah.
All right, so there's a lot of days baked in for, just in case something happens, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. June 19th, we're off anyway.
Right. We just can't get to the 30th, but I would be shocked if we get to the 30th.
Gosh.
The 30th?
Yeah. 'cause
That would be
that's
crazy.
They won't work out to the 30th.
Yeah, no, we're
No,
not.
that's insane. One of the things that I did talk with the Veterans Council about is, proposing the days a little bit earlier so that way we can make sure they're outside of our school calendar days.
Right. so
And
I
they were
think-
very much agreeable to that.
Yeah.
We just
And
talked
you
about the
have a
challenge. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So we'll make sure that we do those
Reach out.
right after this one.
That'd be great.
Yep.
Any other questions? Comments? All right, is there a motion to approve the Norton Veterans Council for the carnival in June of 2024 on the use of the Yale School grounds?
So,
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed?
I'll just abstain because I missed the discussion.
Oh, okay. I was like, okay.
Spice up the election.
That's awesome.
Neighbors are out there. Do we get cancer?
Discussion on proposed school start time committee and timeline.
So as we discussed at our last meeting, it is time time for us to bring back conversations around school start time as well as enrollment configurations. And this came out of our conversation about transportation and some of the challenges that we've been having. So this is just a first look for all of you to give us some feedback and let me know if there's something that we're missing. So the goal of this committee, or what they would be tasked with, is looking at research around best practices for school start times for students from pre-K all the way through grade 12. We want to look at the full continuum of research for all of our students. Analyze local procedures such as grade level configuration, transportation, and districting to ensure the most effective combination to support our students and families. Take a look at our current and projected enrollment trends to make sure that whatever we're proposing really does have the long-term goals and meets our long-term needs. Really take a look at the potential impact of our special education service delivery and the programming needs that we're going to be having over the next several years. We want to make sure that we are really engaging our students and families and the larger community in this conversation. This is a big conversation, and we want to make sure that we have a good representation of shareholders involved in this process. So as you can see, the proposed committee does have a Norton School Committee member, 2 or 3 parents at the elementary level and the secondary level, making sure that our educators are represented on this group, as well as our administrators. Christine will be there as our business representative, making sure that she's looking at the funding and the transportation costs and everything that goes along with that. Vinny will be there as our special education administrator, looking at programming. Brian will join us as well to focus on teaching and learning. And then as needed, we'll be bringing in the Chief Simmons or Chief Clark, Wade as needed, Aaron, because we all know the impact that this may have on sports, and then other people kind of as needed there. Our goal is to get this group off the ground in January of 24, which would include initial outreach to our families and our community members, just talking specifically about the need for this work, and making sure that we are going to have a wide variety of representatives there, and then we'll get the committee together and set the meetings for the year. Throughout the spring and then all the way through September, we'll work on different things at each meetings. We will have different subgroups, one specifically that will look at transportation, one specifically that will look at enrollment, and one that will look at the teaching and learning best practices. We'll be doing family and community surveys, we'll be looking at data, and then also doing community forums to hear from people. Our goal is that we would have an official recommendation for the school committee in September of 24.
To do something possibly
For September of 25. I think you really need to give families a good year's notice if we're going to be changing start time significantly. We'll have to be looking, working with champions, our before and after school program to see how that could impact their numbers. So that's the goal.
Refresh my memory, we've talked about this, but we've never gotten this far as forming a committee.
We did. We had this. You were on it, right, Dan? Were you on this committee?
I feel like Carolyn.
Carolyn,
Was it set times or was it the schools?
It was right before COVID. We were engaged, so it was really looking at school start time. So I have all the agendas from that group when we met in the fall of 2019 and the winter of 2020.
So how far did we get with that?
I think we did a survey of families, and I think we looked at research and best practice around teaching and learning. So we have that information. We can use it as a jumping off point. We're now almost 5 years later. Right. So there's definitely probably some things that have changed. I think, getting updated feedback from the community is definitely needed.
People working from home.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very big difference in that regard.
Yeah.
I wonder 2 things on the town representation. So I know we have a finance committee, do we want to extend an olive branch to the select board?
Yeah, we certainly
Just
can.
making them aware, they don't have to send anybody, but if they want to, they can.
Yep.
And the second, I wonder if it is in our interest to maybe reach out to the planning board.
Yeah.
Because maybe with future development, they would be the ones presumably to know what's coming in. Maybe if someone's coming to them for building plans.
Yeah, that's a
So
great idea.
something like the Pine Street you know, housing development, apartments, they would probably have something 2 years prior to any formal announcement, I would think.
Yeah, and give us some better numbers.
That would just fall under the enrollment subgroup, right?
Yeah, but you can't project it if you don't know what's being built.
Yeah, I'm less inclined to open it up to the selectmen, quite honestly.
So,
And it's nothing personal to them, I just think that at some point you're gonna get too many cooks in the kitchen, quite honestly.
I mean, I think the other thing we could look at too is you form a committee and then look at who's actually voting members of the committee.
Right. I think that's.
Because I think it's a good idea, I agree with you,
Right.
like, this is bigger than schools, because you're looking at it from a standpoint of, you know, traffic and everything else.
Yeah.
well,
But if you make it that, hey, you're a voting member of the committee, so if we do have to go to push anything forward and make a recommendation, you know, back to what frankly would be us
Would be us.
and admin would be,
Right.
you know, a voting member, but again, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm just not sure where it would fall under their purview. I mean, we're gonna talk to police, fire chief, that's gonna be traffic. You know, there's other situations where we're gonna go through that. I mean, if people are gonna hold up putting somebody on there from selecting, I'm not, again, it's not personal to them, I don't dislike them, and I'm not like, oh, I don't want to have a say in this, I just think they're rude.
I just think it's something along the lines of like the permanent building committee where a lot of the ad hoc departments have a spot.
Right, I
So
guess then what I would say is, I'm not sure what we're trying to decide here. If we're trying to decide on whether or not to start schools at different times, I think that's a fairly limited scope of what we're investigating. If we're going beyond that, like, I'm not sure, like, you know, the board of selectmen should be involved in when we start school times.
So I would say it's probably a broader scope than that, because we want to look at the start times, but I think, I tried to say it without scaring people, the enrollment configurations, I think has the potential to take a look at
Reconfiguring the schools.
reconfiguring them in a way that makes more sense. And then potentially the districting. We're having a lot of building on the LGN side of town. Are we going to need to redraw those lines?
Yeah, so
Those have been pretty consistent for a large number of years.
Then we should change what this is called, because in my opinion, school start time committee
Yeah.
is not what we're looking for.
Yeah, no, I think if we're gonna take the time to do this, let's just do it all at the
Yeah.
same
And
time.
my next question was gonna be on research best practices, and I mean, how hard can that be if it's just school times, but I think that answers what I'm really looking for.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Yeah, so why don't we can just look, we can call it something like enrollment configuration, or we'll figure something out. We'll call it something.
I think that's a good idea.
yeah.
Because I know we had just done that before COVID too.
Right.
We had,
Look at the buildings.
yeah, the buildings and it was, yeah. Remember that one? Okay. Anything else on that?
I'll update this a little bit and send it back to you guys.
Okay, thank you for doing that. Any other business?
I have two things that I just want to share with you.
Okay.
Number one is we looked at the traffic pattern at LGN, and today, for the very first time, we were able to bring in 2 lanes at a time, just like we have been doing at JCS for the last couple of years. So far, day one was fairly successful. We only had about 3 cars on the street up to where the solar farm is versus 20 cars down the street. So it does look like it's going to be promising. The staff over at LGN, Christine, Wade, Officer Gropashad did a great job in terms of kind of figuring out the logistics and communicating with families. So that was something that we had been asked to look at by the chief and by other community members, and I think that's something that potentially has legs to keep going.
What changed there that this became a problem? Isn't more people?
It's just more families that are dropping and picking up.
All right.
It used to be a lot more
Point
students.
if people are home.
Yeah.
Well, so I wonder if
I think it's a combination, because I drive through there in the morning, and the worst I've seen is down to the stop sign at the intersection.
Yeah.
And it's just, and the problem is there's cars just on the side of the road.
Right, yeah.
Like, they're not, as
Yeah, I was just curious.
Winkers on, they're just sitting.
You would have the same issue with JCS, but JCS is off the road, so you get a little bit.
Yeah.
you get a little bit-
Right, yeah, you get more.
But yeah, historically, it's never been.
Actually, that was just really decent sized.
That's correct.
Yeah, go up, yeah.
Imagine that school up 300 feet now. all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
so
a real
put that by
problem.
the side a little, and
Correct, exactly, it changes that.
And that's the same issue as the middle school has. But
It's just a space, yeah, all of our schools are really offsite except for LG, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, there's no way to go around that building either, right?
No, because the building itself
Yeah.
and the property line is probably a foot away from each other. It's in a very, very small space. So Wade actually spoke with the owner of the house in the front of the solar property there, and they are willing to work with us. So we could potentially, you know, talk as a community about taking ownership, raising that, creating additional parking, creating an opportunity for
It's
families to go around.
habitable, right?
It doesn't look as bad as people seem to think it is, but no one lives there currently, so. It's an option for down the road, but I think right now, we're gonna try this and see how it goes. And then finally, we had brought the principals forward last spring to share their school improvement plans with you. The committee had asked for them to go back to the drawing board a little bit and look at more specific actionable goals for the committee. They have done that, and I have them all for you. We talked about having them come back and present them to you, or I can just provide them to the committee as a piece of information, and you can give us feedback, and we can always continue to, we can bring them back again in the spring with goals for next year. So it's really up to the group.
I personally think it's fine if you just present that. I think they need to come back and present, take another night.
They're coming back anyway?
Yeah.
They'll come back in late spring to update you.
Yeah, so this will be the basis for the current.
All right, so I will just provide them to you as information.
Yeah, that's fine. Anything else? That's it? Anybody else have anything else? All right, so we have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second? All those in favor?